So today, we have something very special. A man who needs no introduction, but will give him one anyway. The man who made the most meters of any player in the 2022 Six Nations, the most offloads in Super Rugby in 2023. He played 81 games for Benetton, scoring a whopping 155 points. 22 caps for Italy with 45 points. One of the most handsome men in international rugby. The one, the only, Monty Ioane!
And we'll edit in an applause.
That was awesome.
Monty, thank you so much for being here. How's France?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. France is awesome. It's amazing. It's hot. I don't know if you guys know, but over the weekend when we played, I think it was apparently hit 38. Apparently.
And you guys had a really, really brutal time. It was kickoff at like 1 p.m., right?
Yeah, and that was just, yeah, I don't know about the timing, but
It
at the peak hour. Yeah, so it was terrible. It was terrible. But it is rugby and everyone had to deal with it. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, France has been awesome. So,
is the atmosphere sort of around the city, like, is it very sort of World Cup heavy? Everyone having a great time, laughing?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I actually didn't realize how big rugby here was. Obviously, you hear about the top 14 and yes, the World Cup is here, but quite surprising with I don't know. It's quite funny. Everyone seems to think that I'm an All Black. Maybe it's
No way.
Well, are they calling you a loser as you walk around the streets?
Oh no, I don't know. Obviously, they look at me. I'm an Islander, so the first thought to them is, "Oh yeah, he's an All Black." So it's
That's
quite funny.
great. Yeah. Oh, amazing.
How do you feel going into the Uruguay game?
Yeah, pretty excited. We've got a lot of work to do. Obviously the game against the Namibia, yes, we did win by 52 points, but probably wasn't to the standard that we've been to the standard we've set ourselves. Obviously, sorry.
No, yeah, sorry to interrupt. I should never interrupt. It's a terrible trick.
No, that's fine. That's fine. No, please do.
No, I was going to say, because you play rugby with such a smile all the time. We'll talk about it later, but it's like one of your, like, makes you one of the most fun players to watch is how you seem to enjoy the game so much. And sometimes, but it seemed to me in Namibia, lots of the smiles disappeared for quite a lot of the game, particularly in the first half.
From everyone's faces.
Oh God, yeah. I honestly, a lot of the boys are dark at me at the moment because it's probably one of the games that first time I've lost my head at the whole team, and it was pretty bad. I won't go into detail about it, but yeah, yeah.
Well, you can't have done a Dan Bigger.
It can't have been as bad as Dan Bigger. That was next level.
Oh God, yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't know, but I won't say too much about it. You'll probably hear about it if you do interview one of the other boys. But yeah.
But it must. I mean, look, I imagine it's so normal, right? Like first World Cup for so many of this squad, right? Like you included. And even though obviously Namibia, as far as like the games and the group stages go, like it's a really nice platform. Like you're sort of each game is a trickier one than the one before. But it's still like a huge thing when you step out onto that pitch. You're like, wow, this is the first World Cup I'm playing in. So I think it's pretty normal to have like, emotions running high.
Yeah, no, of course. And, as we've all spoken about it. Everyone's going to be nervous. They feel just as nervous as we do. Everyone's emotions are high, as you said. But in terms of how Italian rugby, how we want to play, the level that we've set for ourselves, because now it's pretty high, right? Everyone can see that Italian rugby's completely changed, and the bar that we've set for ourselves is quite high. So the way that we had played on the weekend just wasn't it. Yes, 52 points, big score, but it was a bit scrappy.
Do you think that was partly to do with not underestimating Namibia, but I was incredibly impressed with how Namibia were much better than I thought they were going to be, if I'm perfectly honest. I thought it was particularly their defense, their rush defense, the way they came up so hard. They'd obviously done their homework, and I think their homework was to try and stop you and Capozzo getting any ball. And they seemed to do pretty well at that, putting so much pressure on the centres to stop it getting out.
Yeah, without a doubt. But that just probably comes down to us just being able to adapt to that, and I guess just take a bit more depth in terms of receiving the ball, because they were flying pretty hard. And the first half, just wasn't getting any ball. It was quite frustrating. Then it wasn't until second half we decided to just play a little bit more. But Namibia. Oof. I'm glad that's out of the way.
Yeah, right.
Well, the group in general is quite. That's twice Italy have been in a very, very harsh group.
Yeah,
Sorry, when was the first time you saw the group fixtures this time round? You were like, oh no, not again.
We were like, for fuck's sake, as if like this is the group that we're in again.
I actually saw. It was a long. We actually knew about it a long time ago. I can't remember. But yes, obviously the initial thought was, oh fuck, that's a tough call. But now leading into it and coming into obviously getting the first game out of the way, everyone's quite confident, you know.
Nice.
With the way the rugby's going on at the moment, anything can happen. You know, obviously the last Six Nations game with France against Italy. I think I was obviously in Australia, but I think the points were like a 5-point difference or something like that.
Yeah.
And the first time that I had come across the All Blacks anyway, was about a year and a half ago, or maybe 2 years, something like that.
Stadio Olimpico.
When Kieran,
we were there. Yeah. We were there.
Yeah. Kieran's it was one of his first games, I think.
Right?
I believe. Yeah. And obviously, just before going into half time, the All Blacks had scored 2 tries in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. We said that. We were in the stands, and we were like, guys, it's 30 minutes in, and the All Blacks have been nilled.
Yeah, and so obviously from that game on, that was I guess that was the start of a change for Italian rugby, and you could see it. Even though we ended up getting pumped by like 50 something, but
you could feel it. You could feel it outside. I've been to the Stadio Olimpico lots of times, and lots of times when you leave, you know, you could feel the atmosphere, and quite often it's a bit down, if I'm perfectly honest.
Yeah.
But that one, like, everyone left so sort of proud, content, happy with what they'd just seen. Like, everyone had their heads up and they were like, yeah, that was great. That was a really solid performance.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Like, believe me, I think it's worse on the field. I think
really
when you're getting pumped on the field by 50 points, it's terrible. It's like it's like I want to be part of the crowd.
Yeah. At that point, were you like, yeah, no, I am a Kiwi. Just like get the shirt on, like.
Yeah. Oh, but it was tough because obviously my first, I think I had played a handful of games before that All Black game, so I was still quite fresh to Italian rugby. But prior to that, you know, we were just getting pumped 50 points plus. And then from then on, we started, you know, the points difference started closing the gap, and now you can see, you know, it's just
it's so exciting.
Turning.
What was it like for you when you were in, obviously, the last season you were playing at Melbourne Rebels, and watching the Six Nations on TV? Was that really painful, watching it and not being able to be part of it, and seeing a close game against France and thinking that you probably could have made the difference in that game?
Oh, yeah, no, honestly, it definitely was tough, but I guess for me, it was kind of good to just kind of, because I needed to go to Australia just to kind of like step away from rugby for a little bit, just kind of switch off. And for me to step away from Italian rugby and just see it kind of really made me appreciate what I had over here. And when I was watching it, I was absolutely spewing. I'd never think that, you know, I would have made the difference, because you just never know. You just can't Like it just.
I mean, we said it at the time. We were like, "Damn, if Monty was there, if Monty was there."
But I think if you need to step away from rugby, going to the Melbourne Rebels is a perfect place to do it. I'm joking. Please don't leave the chat.
Oh, it was a tough time there, but hey, it is what it is.
But I used to get up. I got up early in the mornings to watch the games, and in my opinion, they just didn't know how talented you were. I mean, I don't want to sound like a sycophant, but they just didn't. The amount of times I saw centres crashing it up, and I was like, "What are you doing, guys? Let's just look outside you." I mean, it was like the old-fashioned sort of can't pass, won't pass in the middle, you know?
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna really comment on it.
No.
on the game plan or down talk because everyone has their own ways. There's a different style of rugby over there, different style of rugby over here, and what's obviously under Kieran, I've known him for the last 6 years, and he knows I play. So the way Italian rugby is, it's well suited for me.
Yeah.
It's exciting being here. Being in the Rebels, obviously for myself personally, it was a tough period. But at that same time, like I said, it was more of a downtime for me to just go home, switch off for a little bit, and then I don't know, just to come back and have that joy again to start playing to play rugby again. It's awesome.
Right. So, I think it's that thing of like actually taking some time away makes you like just reassess, and then if you then found, oh, actually no, this is what I want and I want to go back to it, it means that when you do come back to it, you're fresh and you're excited and you value it more.
And also, jokes aside about, you know, my Melbourne Rebels, don't take anything I say seriously ever. But also, like, there's having extra experience is only ever going to be a good thing.
Yeah.
And finding, playing club rugby in Australia is only ever going to make someone, you know, a more rounded, better rugby player if you have those experiences. Yeah,
and like honestly, I didn't really do much over there. I didn't touch the ball much over there, but I did learn a lot of I guess ball playing a little bit more. Which I've been able to come here and kind of integrate into the Italian game a little bit better. So so I guess in the sense it was a plus.
Yeah.
And talk about Australian rugby, because obviously people can tell listening that you may or may not be from Melbourne, Australian, but as opposed to Italian. But it was a conscious choice to play for Italy, wasn't it? And under Crowley, as opposed to being a Wallaby.
Yeah. It was a bit of a funny one because it's a long story, but I'll try and shorten it as quick as possible. I was playing in New Zealand at the time, and then I had the offer to come to Italy, but I was trying to go back home from New Zealand. But they didn't. The money they offered me was terrible, and I was having my daughter at the time, so it wasn't affordable. And I just said, you know what? Then Italy came up, and I was like, do they even play rugby? But yeah, it was crazy. I knew nothing about the Six Nations. I knew nothing about, because when in Australia and New Zealand, no one knows about what the Six Nations is.
Really?
Like, yeah, it's wild. It's wild. Like, no one really understands the top 14.
Wow.
English Premiership. Because they were so now probably things have changed, because obviously the Super Rugby has died a little bit, and the South African team's coming over to the URC. So the European rugby has obviously become more popular, but obviously it was so Super Rugby focused during the period that I came over. And then I had my first year at Benetton, and obviously, I enjoyed it quite a lot. And then from there, it was just, Kieran just said to me, look, there's an opportunity to play for Italy, but we'd love to have you, blah, blah, blah. At that time, still didn't know what the Six Nations were. I was playing for Benetton and watching it, and I didn't really understand how the things worked. I just, just going along with it. And next thing you know, 3 years down the track, ended up putting on the jersey. So.
I remember in the years leading up, every time you'd extend your contract at Benetton, we were like, guys, a couple more months and he qualifies. A couple more months. Come on, Monty, hold out.
We were actually counting down. A bunch of Benetton fans were literally counting down to like qualification day.
Oh God, yeah. No, I'm very grateful to be able to put on the jersey. It's always, even though I'm not Italian, but I still tell everybody in Australia that I'm part Italian, because people still somehow question how I'm able to qualify for the country, because they didn't realize that I came before the period that it's changed for 5 years now.
Yeah.
But I came when I was 3.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I just said, no, it's because I have a bit of Italian in me. So
I love that.
Nice.
Yes. And your Italian's pretty good.
no, it's not. It's terrible. It's terrible. Well, I was getting better, but yeah, I've lost it. When you don't speak it for a
Yeah. Did your daughters like pick it up when they were living in
Yeah, they were
Treviso?
fluent. They were fluent.
Oh.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a bit funny, because obviously me and my partner spoke English at home, but
Yeah.
obviously 90% of the time of the day they were at school,
Yeah.
and then they'd come home in the night. But they got to that point where their English was terrible, and their Italian was
Wow.
well, obviously my Italian is not great, so, but from my understanding, people were saying that they were very fluent. So
That's amazing. So they're basically like, now they'll end up almost trilingual in a couple of years, right? Because if they're now in France, like they'll be learning in France. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is
French
amazing.
now.
Oh.
And so when you went to, so you were in Benetton, you went back to Australia, and then you came back and you played against Japan, scored 3 tries at your old stomping ground. What were the emotions like with that?
Yeah, it was that game was pretty personal for me. Obviously, only because I was coming back to Treviso. Yeah, I don't know. I was probably, I've never been nervous like that ever
Really?
for a game, and it was pretty. Yeah. The week leading into it was difficult. I was just saying I remember saying to some of the boys, I was like, oh, I think I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to pull it. I can't have. I'm way too. I was like, I don't know if there's anxiety or something that's taken over me. Yeah,
was that just
crazy.
like because you obviously left like after renewing your contract and then obviously going back home? Was it because you felt like you left on a weird note, and so coming back? Yeah.
You can say bad.
I mean, well, what's interesting though is like literally we were at the game a couple of weeks ago and everyone was chanting your name. So there were no bad vibes where we were sitting. Trust me. It was like the Monty fan club 101. Everyone was chanting it. It was amazing.
I mean, people were so excited to see you back.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, it kind of, like I actually missed playing there, and I was just like, wow, this is where it all happened. This is where it all started, like kind of where I kind of like, started my career.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty personal playing over there. So yeah.
Well, if your Benetton career didn't, which it did, get into the history books, absolutely. Scoring 3 tries against Japan at the Monigo, definitely is in the history books.
Were you like, I've smashed this? I mean, how's that for a comeback?
Yeah, low-key had that moment when I got back to the hotel, and I was just buzzing.
Yeah.
Just buzzing.
Oh, it was amazing. So your decision, obviously, when Kieran said, look, you can play for Italy, and the fact that now, I think I've heard you say in interviews that like if you had the opportunity to switch over to Australia, you'd stick with Italy? Yeah,
no, I definitely wouldn't. First of all, they play a totally different game plan, and it's not suited for me. I probably wouldn't even make the team, and that's fine. But at the moment, I'm playing for the Italian rugby, and the way that Italian rugby plays is just so suited to me.
Well, that was Kieran always talks about like entertaining rugby for the fans and how important it is to actually put on a bit of a show. And obviously the Italy that we're seeing has some of the most entertaining play in world rugby, I would say. So is Kieran really good at taking that kind of pressure off and just letting you guys have fun and be free?
Yeah, I don't know if you watched the game against Namibia where I ran like fucking across the field, like from one. I promise you, if I was to do that in any other team, I would have been dropped.
We actually, that was very impressive, but
Yeah.
it wasn't, if I'm perfectly honest, as impressive as the Namibian number 18 diving at you like Superman. I mean, that guy, I looked him up. He's 35 years old, 125 kgs, and I was winded just watching how he landed. And he's my new hero. Everyone should approach life the way that man approached trying to take you down.
We did a bit of a review this morning, and that was the first clip they showed that they were just giving me shit about it.
In the commentary, they were like, if that man had stopped you, like had actually taken you down, that would have been his single highlight reel. Was just that forever.
Yeah, I was saved. I was just saved though. I was lucky. But yeah, I can't remember. What
just in that free flowing, yeah.
No, Kieran, he's absolutely awesome with that, and that's I guess I don't know. He gives the power to the team, which is quite awesome, and he allows us to play freely, and he just says, just have a go. Obviously, with the way, like I said before, with the way we're playing, we're playing very exciting rugby, and something had to change, and it had to be a different approach to the usual bash the bodies and because with the size difference with our like Italian rugby, we're very small compared to like our forwards are very small. Like look at Fischio, for example. He's a big boy, but look at the size of him compared to the English props or the Irish props or something like that. So we had to, I guess, find something that worked well for us. And Italians, I personally think that they've got it in them. Like in terms of the rugby, they always have. Like genetically, they're no different to the French.
Yeah,
like, same physique, same.
That's so true. Yeah.
Like just obviously that they've just been taught different ways and maybe starting from the ground up, but genetically they're the same build. Like that, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between Italians and French. And look at the way all the Italians are playing. Like obviously before they were trying to bring in foreigners into the Italian squad to try and make a difference, but that's not needed right now. It's not needed at all because yes, maybe you can bring a foreigner here, but foreigner there, but a majority of the team is Italian, and they're doing freaking amazing.
Yeah, Italy's attack this year has been probably one of the best in the Six Nations. I think it's just unbelievable what you guys are putting together. Is that Italian flair?
Yeah. Honestly, like I think we're just not because I play for Italy, but I honestly think we're playing the most exciting rugby at the moment, just in terms of attack, even better than the French.
I agree.
The French, yes, they obviously have their flair, but they've got their big boys and they're just doing the simple truck it up, and then they're using their backs to show the flair. But our forwards are doing just as much as the backs are doing with us. So it's awesome.
Yeah. And do you think it's a combination, isn't it? Because it's Kieran who came in and sort of allowed that freedom, but it's also that in conjunction with obviously all of the work that's been put in at kind of just developing rugby at a youth level in Italy that hasn't really existed until the last kind of decade.
Also, obviously, from the time Kieran had come, I'm not saying that he's responsible for everything, but he is, he has played a big role in terms of changing Italian rugby, and it's been a work in progress over the last 6 years, 5 or 6 years. Yeah, I think that's how long he's been here. And mind you, with the team that we've got at the moment, that's been the team that's been together for the last 5-6 years. Yeah. Any of the younger ones that just come in, when obviously like for example Tommy Minicello, Lolo Pani, Lorenzo Canone. These guys, when they come into the professional system, and if this is what they see and this is where the standard is for them, then obviously it starts quite high for them. So then they know that they have to reach that they've got to set that bar for themselves. So
that's such a good point, because they are these young guys and they have come through, and they've come through so strong so quickly. I mean, you think like Canone, Lorenzo Canone, what he had his debut like in the Six Nations, like, and now he's
Samoa. Was it Samoa? I think was his debut.
Was it like within the last year? I mean, and he's now indispensable. I mean, his growth has been phenomenal. Menoncello, when he got injured, I was like, he's like, what a disaster, because he's so strong.
Exactly.
And did you see that development, not just at the national side for Italy, but did you feel it when you were at Benetton? Obviously, you went on to win the Rainbow Cup. There you are. There's your t-shirt, the Rainbow Cup. But that did you feel at your time at Benetton the difference when you began and when you left? Was there a quality difference in how things were approached and the players and the quality and all of it, or was it the same when this is really coming in at a national level?
No, like obviously, because I had no idea with how the system worked in the beginning. And then obviously it was a bit strange to see. Oh, sorry. And to give you another awesome example, Paulo Gabisi, which was crazy. Like the guy had he had two professional games before he played for Italy.
Right.
And then scored an unbelievable try for, but obviously him coming into the system, so he wouldn't know any better.
Yeah.
But our standards were pretty high over in Benetton. Obviously, everything under Kieran the bar's always set quite high. And then as soon as he comes into the system, he obviously understands, okay, this is what professionalism is like. I've got to be like that if I want to blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then obviously you can see the growth in all the boys, and it's crazy. It's wild.
It's wild. And you've hit the nail on the head. It's exciting. It's exciting both visually because you're creating exciting rugby, but it's exciting to see that like this Italy side is literally game in, game out, becoming more and more and more competitive. And it's just a matter of time before you smash a game, and then I think the floodgates will open and it will become I think you're already there, basically. Like nobody's or thinking of Italy as an easy game anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
No. Literally, like 3 years ago, they probably still were.
Yeah, because I'm not thinking about sort of obviously you beat Wales, Australia, but I'm thinking about when the floodgates open, it's going to be you absolutely pump someone.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be the sort of the straw that breaks it. You're going to absolutely destroy someone who's not expecting it, and that'll be like the welcome to the big time.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think that with the way we're playing, this is how Italian rugby should have always played. And it's awesome to see. Like Italians have flair, and oh man, I don't know. It's just more exciting, and I'm a bit gutted because I'm probably on the way out.
No way.
I'm getting to that age where I'm on the way out, but hey,
don't you dare! I
don't think so.
I'm happy to be a part of it.
No, you're going to be in the Wonder team. I mean, this World Cup's obviously super exciting, but obviously, I'm sure you've heard like everyone's talking about Italy come 2027 because that's going to be just the best thing ever.
If that Namibian number 18 had caught you, I would say you're on the way out.
On the way out.
But he didn't quite catch you. So as long as you're,
Oh, well, then I'm
you're okay.
I'm probably close.
No, because don't forget, he gets older too. So next year he'll be 36. He'll be slowing down.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Right.
But so as you say, sorry to interrupt, Eddie, but just to kind of close that chapter on kind of what Kieran's done, it's what I think is really cool is the professionalism that you said that Kieran set, but couple that with the freedom and the excitement that he brings, because a lot of coaches, like we're seeing it, I don't want to name any names, but teams like England or like just teams that have these coaches who are very serious and it's all about being serious. And so players who, especially wings, right, who want to create magic moments, like are feeling really stifled. I heard an interview with Paolo Adogru saying, up until a year ago, I thought I'd be aiming for England, but now I look at England and I'm like, I'm so happy that I'm playing in Italy because I get to have fun and I get to express myself. It's just great that that's kind of the environment that Kieran's created in a super professional, but still super free way.
Yeah, and that's kind of the, I guess, superpower that Kieran has here. He almost kind of makes you want to play for him, and you enjoy playing for him, and it in a way it's like more pressure on you because you want to do more for him and give more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it was really moving,
a
right?
lot of people
the
have said that
Treviso
kind
game...
of thing about me. I've heard that's the sort of the influence that I have on people.
Yeah.
I mean, you must feel it now doing this podcast that you just want to.
No, of course.
Raise
Impress.
I want to give more to you. And...
Thanks. Well, speaking of which, I do want to say, all right, and I don't want to put any more pressure on you, but I have made you my captain of my fantasy rugby team.
Oh, mate, honestly, you don't need to stress about that because the whole team everyone's been made me their captain for fantasy. I was like, guys, I don't need to hear this.
Well, I don't want to make you feel bad, but you are my captain. That's how much I believe in you. And this fantasy rugby was put together by these guys at Carbo Rugby, who is another social content maker, right? And they happened to beat us at Touch Rugby a couple of weeks ago. And I can't lose to these guys twice.
I'll try to make sure. Do you have Ange in your team? Do you have Ange?
No, just you.
The pressure is on.
I saw that Capozzo was chosen by something like 46% of everyone playing it. So I was like, well, that's a losing bet because if he does well, everyone does well.
So he's putting all his eggs in your basket, Monty.
Yeah. All right, I got you then. I got you.
Thank you. Grazie.
I was about to say derrière, but
well, it's because you're in France.
Yeah. I'm trying to get used to the language, so
gosh.
Difficult. I keep like responding in Italian, which is terrible.
Well, yeah, I was in Italy recently, and I was told that I speak Italian like Borat.
Yeah, it's true. He says things in Italian, and I'm just like, oh God, he sounds. I mean,
ciao, posso avere?
Hello, can I have some? I'm like, oh God, this is so embarrassing.
You are Italian, right?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, I know you are. I remember meeting you one time a long time ago in the Benetton game.
Yeah. So these two, I've just basically dragged them along and forced them into loving Italian rugby. They're basically English people who've had enough of watching England play and they've fallen in love with Italy. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
First I went to Benetton and I'd never been to a club like it. You know, you end up sort of getting drunk at the pub with Eduardo Gori and just going, this is the best place ever. And then it was Ellie's birthday, and so I asked Bram Stain if he could get a photo, and then Ellie went to the bathroom and he'd arranged for all the players in the pub to surprise her with a photo all together. And I was like, what Premiership club would do this? None.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
It says a lot about the players. They do have good lads at the club. So.
And coach once dressed up as the mascot.
I was about to say they let me dress up as Ben.
The mascot.
I did a wonderful job.
It was Eddie's 30th birthday and we surprised him for, I can't remember what the game was that we came out to see, but I messaged, I think it was Alicia who works in, I guess like sort of just hospitality at Benetton. And I was like, hey, is there any chance we could like borrow the mascot costume at like the beginning of the game just to surprise Eddie for his birthday, and like coach can pop out from under the costume? And she was like, I have a better idea. We're going to put him in the mascot costume at halftime. He'll come out onto the pitch, high five all the kids, get a pint, walk up the stairs, we'll play happy birthday over the tannoy, and then he can reveal himself on camera. And it was this whole thing. Oh my God, it was incredible.
You did it?
Yeah, I'll send you the video. It's so funny.
Awesome.
It was so
That is
good.
awesome.
Yeah. It was the happiest moment of my life, and I got married that a year ago.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it was great. It was great fun. We'll send some pictures of you of me putting the costume on. It's quite funny.
Oh yeah, because he did Dutch courage to prepare for the nerves, and then started erotic posing in the costume in the changing rooms.
This poor woman Alicia was just taking photos of him while he was getting ready to come out, and he was absolutely smashed off his face, high-fiving kids in this Benetton costume. Yeah, it was great. And so, you know, after an experience like that, how can you not fall in love with the club?
That's awesome. And do you guys go quite often to?
Yeah, pretty regularly. I'd say we try and catch like at least a couple of Italy games and then a couple of Benetton games every year.
I just have to say, Ellie, I appreciate you a lot, because you are heavily invested into the club, and I used to read a lot of your comments that you would write about me, which is awesome. That was awesome.
Thank you so much. Well, no, I meant every word. Honestly, when we heard that you were leaving, we were so gutted, but I'm really happy.
As was I.
We're so happy to have you back in the Italy camp. If we can't have you at Benetton, we can have you at Italy. That's
absolutely. And now that you're in France, we get to have you in the Six Nations. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And obviously, when you're at Lyon, you'll be playing probably in the same back line as Randrandra, and that's pretty exciting. But it can't match playing with your soulmate Taviara.
Oh God, that one is that's a personal one for me. God, I miss playing with that guy. We had such a good relationship on the field and off the field. Best mates, obviously.
Really?
He's one of my best mates. Yeah. He is awesome. It's a bit of a shame to see where he is at the moment, but that's
he's such a great player. It is a shame.
But he got an Italy cap or an Italy A cap, didn't he? I can't remember which. An Italy A maybe.
Yeah. It was just a bit of a shame. Like, I can't really say too much as to why people leave or why I left or anything. But sometimes when your freedom gets taken away, you just tend to lose the joy for rugby. And then,
it's tough, isn't it? Because it's also like, I mean, you guys know better than any of us. Like, it's such a tricky career in itself, and it's such a short career. Like, you want your years playing it to be as joyful as they can be, right?
Of course. And you know, like, there is no one size fits all. You know, there's different ways of teaching, there's different ways of learning, and if that's just how it is, then so be it. If you're not happy with where you are, then make the decision to move, or I don't know, or stay. And
well, we've got some silly questions for you.
Go shoot right away.
Well, shall I start? I just want to have a quick, because as a coach myself, and a leader of men, some people call me, and an ex-rugby player myself, I'll let you guess my position later. Oh, actually, the question's going to give it away.
Okay, no, wait. Let me. I'm going to put this to Monty. Okay, so obviously, you know, we've joked about Casper Vivier, the number 18 Namibia prop, who nearly caught you the other day. The commentators during that game were like, unmistakable. You look at this man and he is unmistakable for any other position, cannot be anything but a prop. But I'm going to read you the stats on these two boys here in the Zoom chat with me, because they both used to play rugby. So I'm going to read you a little bit of information about them, and I want you to guess the position they played when they used to play rugby. So I'll start with Eddie. He is 5'8".
Whoa.
No, sorry.
Whoa.
5'11".
Thank you.
5'11". I mean, it's probably 5'10.5", but he says 5'11". 5'11" and 89 kilos. If you looking at this man, knowing that information, what position are you putting him down as?
I'll take a guess at either a 10 or somewhere in the midfield. Or a wing.
Not bad. No.
Scrum half, but I used to be less fat.
Scrum half. Okay.
But I mean, if you spend a bit more time with him, he's very gobby. He doesn't shut up. So that. But yeah, I mean, he's very slow, so he could not be a wing.
True.
That's his wife, by the way.
He blames it on having like very thick calves, and he says that slows him down. But I mean, we'll go.
Got too much weight at the bottom of my legs that I have to carry because you got to carry all that calf everywhere you go.
I wish I had that problem, but I've got no calves to carry, so.
Well, it seems to be working for you.
And now I'm going to read...
I don't know. I almost got caught by the number 18, so...
Well, if you had these calves, you would have got caught.
So we've got a number 9, and I'm going to read you coach's stats here. We've got 5'8" and 107 kilograms. Where are you putting coach on your rugby pitch?
You're a Lucy.
No, I'm a wing.
This man was one of the fastest rugby players we've ever seen 10 years ago.
Oh my God. Wait, you were 107 kilos back then?
No, I am now. Back then I was probably 82.
That's a lie. You were never 82. That's absolute garbage.
I was.
That's terrible from them.
You play. Yes, I'm deceptively fat or deceptively fast, depending on how you look at it.
Outrageous.
But now that you know that this man used to be a club wing, you can ask him your question, coach.
Oh yeah. Look, I've always been fascinated to know, what is it that wingers train to get faster? How do you do that? What's your training regimen? How do you get faster?
Honestly, you're asking the wrong guy, because I'm like one of the slowest guys in out of the outside backs here. No, I'm serious. I'm big dead serious.
No way.
I've been given. The boys always give me shit. They did that at Benetton, and they have here in Italian rugby.
No, I can't believe that. Come on.
You don't look slow at all from the stands. You look electric.
What? You're fast.
No, I'm the first 10 meters is my thing, and then anything after that, I'm fucking. That's why you'll never see me go for an intercept. You will never see me go for an intercept. There are so many opportunities that I've had to intercept the ball, but I've just chosen to play the safe game and just go for the tackle.
That's incredible.
That's not a bad opinion to have, because it was years ago when Bellini did an intercept against Ireland and then was caught. And the fact that I can remember that, because when a winger gets caught after doing an intercept.
Oh God. Yeah. No, it's terrible. It happened to me at one time, and my dad just wasn't happy, and I just never heard the end of it. So yeah. Oh, to answer your question, the other guys, not me, they do a lot. They do a lot of like plyometric stuff, power lifts in the gym. We don't really train speed. In rugby, you don't really have we don't really have time to do it. We're trying to get the best of both worlds, of being fit, being fast, being strong, being it is obviously you get guys like Johnny May who are just stupidly fast, and they probably do a lot of that extra stuff, but I focus a lot more on other things, like, which I probably, honestly, as a winger, I should be probably be focusing on my speed, but I like to focus more on like one-on-one things. So yeah.
Well, it works.
Cool. Well, speaking of which, these are some of my things. So it's underneath the subtitle "funny shit," but I don't think it's that funny.
These are very serious questions.
These are, yeah, but I think they're interesting. Would you rather step someone or smash through them?
Smash. I'd love to smash through someone only because I can't do it. So I would.
You're being really humble here.
But I'm actually not heavy enough. I'm like 80. Like people think that I'm a big boy, but I'm actually not. I'm like 89 kilos, 88 kilos actually. Yeah, my first Six Nations, I was 97 kilos. I'm now playing at 97 kilos.
Wow.
Yeah, I was at 97 kilos under Franco Smith, and I am now playing at then because that was during I think it was during the COVID period.
Yeah, that was was that 2020 then or 2020?
Yeah, I just kind of let myself go a little bit there.
As we all did.
I'm now playing at 88 kilos, which is my normal playing weight. So yeah,
nice.
About the same for me. Yeah, 88. Yeah.
The fact that this man ever thinks he was ever in the 80s. I mean, you didn't know him, but I can assure you that's a lie.
That's not.
Oh my God.
Wait, you've got a picture. Eddie, show him the picture.
Yeah, where
it's
is
there on the windowsill.
Oh God.
What?
Yeah.
He's coach is there on the left. Eddie's in the middle.
Yeah, he's very short.
Yeah, he's the short guy. Show him again.
But like.
Oh, there we go. Okay, all right, and that's 82.
88. Yeah, all right. 8.
Okay,
I forgot about that photo.
It's going up every time.
88.
I forgot that photo. I forgot that photo existed.
But he is. He's like a dwarf from Lord of the Rings. Us dwarfs are natural sprinters, not built for long distances. Right, the next one. Would you rather smash someone back in a tackle or catch them from behind?
Smash someone back in a tackle.
Smash him back. Good choice. Would you rather a sexy offload or a sexy catch?
Oh, maybe a sexy offload.
Yeah. Oh, the one page Rello did at the end of this Namibia game.
Well, that was nice. But what about this guy's one to put Capozzo in? Because I'm not a technician, but it looked like that pass came to you a little bit early, so you had to give it back like you were playing sevens. But you did. You did the right thing.
That's it. That's what he said he learned at Melbourne.
And if I was you, and I really want everyone to be harmonious in the Italian camp. We want everyone to get along. But I would tell him if he ever does that to you again, there'll be words.
It's funny. It's funny because, like I said, we did our review this morning and everyone just said, classic Ange. That's what you've always wanted. That's what you always do. You always want to be the
finisher.
What do you call that? Yeah, want to be the. You did that on purpose. You gave it to him on purpose, and oh God. Well, because to be fair, the right option was for him to go back inside. Because it was just totally free, but
yeah,
the boys were giving him shit for it.
It worked. It's a shame though. It would have been another try in your introduction.
Yeah. Sadly, I missed out on that.
And the last one, massive kick or clever chip.
Massive kick, because I don't have either, so.
You've done a million chip and chases.
Honestly, I never practiced them. They just they literally just came out of nowhere, back pocket.
That's it. You're a spontaneous player. You can't teach this stuff, guys. You got to let him be free.
You got to let me be free. I'm a free spirit. Free spirit.
That's kind of what we used to call Taviara, actually.
Watching
it.
That's him, man. Honestly, he taught me that. Like,
did it?
When he'd come off the bench, he would be like, anything can happen. And this could be like a hat trick or a red card. It doesn't. Anything can happen here.
There's no better way to put it, honestly. Oh God! But with that guy, honestly, he is. I don't care to talk shit about him, but seriously, with that guy, I've never seen a more worse game preparation before. No, I'm like terrible.
No way.
KFC, McDonald's the whole week. Game day. If the game's at like 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night, wakes up at like, I don't know, whatever time, just before lunchtime. Doesn't drink, doesn't eat water. Doesn't eat water. Sorry, doesn't eat food. Doesn't even hydrate. He'll just eat terrible. Sometimes he wouldn't even eat before the game, and then he'll just go to the game and just like score 3 tries. Or
Coach, was he taking your notes?
I think he got my hold of my notebook there.
there was some games.
The Carlos Spencer of Northeast Italy. What? Sorry.
No, sorry. Yeah, there was some games where he was out the night before, like getting pissed. Rocked up to the game, man of the match, and I just said, "Fuck, I'm doing something wrong."
Yeah, yeah, right. You've got to be like, okay, he knows something that we definitely don't know. Our nickname, and we gave him this nickname totally from a place of love because we loved watching him, but it was the liability. Because you didn't know. You were like, oh God, he's on. What's going to happen? Are we going to get a red card? Or is he going to score 7 tries?
Oh God, but yeah, there's no better way to put it. Like Tuva is just, honestly, as you said, a free spirit. Like you just, and it got to like, if anyone else in the team was to do that kind of stuff, like drink night before, fucking, sometimes you'd be like late to, like he just didn't care if he was. I remember like he just rocked up late to the captain's run before the game, and he goes, "All right, well, if you don't want to play me, then don't play me." Just like stuff like that, and just like obviously you can't drop him because he's, and so like, we just accept with Fijians. You just got to accept them for who they are because they do different cultural background. Like. Obviously, they come from one side of the world to Italy, and there's everything. It's just a massive, cultural difference. And they're just living freely. They're having alcohol and kava and all this and all these things. I was drinking kava before the games as well, and we're just like just let Tuva be Tuva. Let him do it because the game day he's gonna turn up. So
that's it. Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I don't know if Sammy's anything like that, but you might meet your new bestie playing at Lyon together. You might fill that little Taviara hole in your life.
Yeah, we'll see.
Impossible.
We'll see.
It's impossible.
Yeah, you've answered that. Impossible with Tuva. There's just God. We had such a good relationship on the field. It was.
You could see it. You guys both of you just played with, like we said it, like with a smile on your faces. You were it was so clearly like you guys were having fun, and so everyone was having fun.
It was iconic. It was awesome.
And we don't want to dwell on it too much, but obviously all our listeners and F want to know that Fiji were robbed yesterday. Anyway, moving on.
That was heartbreaking.
I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
That's rugby.
Yeah.
That's rugby.
Right, we'll finish up with a couple of quick fire. I'll do some. Shall I do them? No, Coach, do you want to do them? Quick fire from the Italy squad. So we'll just give you something and you just tell us which player this is most appropriate for. Coach, go for it.
Cool. Right. In the Italy squad, best roomie.
Nacho Rex.
Oh.
Who's the loudest?
Who's the loudest?
If you don't know the answer, it's you.
It's probably, honestly, no. I was honestly about to say me.
No way! I love that.
Yeah, probably me.
Right, who's the laziest?
Dave Cece. Not. I actually can't change my answer. No. Sorry, not laziest. He loves sleeping, so that's the only reason why I came to my. That's the only reason why I came to my head.
Well, we understand. We really like that. We've seen how hard he works on the pitch. We assume that a lot of work goes into it. No one's in the Italian squad and lazy, but he's the sleepiest. Fine.
Like one of the seven dwarfs.
Oh man.
On that note, yeah, who's the go on?
Who's the funniest?
Who's the funniest? Probably Nacho. He's the joker of the squad. Or maybe even Varney. Classic
way.
Classic. No, not it's the chat. It's the chat. It's like terrible. So it's something to laugh at.
Who's the best dancer?
You're looking at him.
All right.
Very good.
Well, then who's the best singer?
You're looking at him.
Right. Well, then you've got to tell us what's your go-to karaoke song.
I was joking. Seb Negri is amazing. Beautiful voice.
Oh wow. Okay.
Beautiful. He loves singing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who is the latest? Like, who's always late to shit?
Like I said, our standards are pretty high.
Okay.
Oh, actually, sorry. It's either Morizi or BG. Luca BG.
Oh.
Those two. Terrible. That was, yeah.
Terrible. So we're talking late.
Yeah, like every time to the bus or meetings. Obviously, when it comes to, like, if we're going to talk about professional work, no one's late. No one's late to anything. But if it's something that's got to do with the team, they're always taking their time. They're always last on the bus, and
yeah.
And if you had to spend 6 months on a deserted island with one of your teammates, who would it be?
Probably Nacho.
Oh!
He's coming. Coming out of this very well.
Yeah,
Mr.
you're
Brett.
painting him in a great light.
Oh, he's been my roomie except for now, but he's kind of been the only roomie. No, that's a lie. I've roomed with someone else, but I roomed with Marco Fusa before.
Okay.
Who was it was terrible. It was terrible. And so to have Nacho, oh god, it's
nice. Terrible in a sort of snory way, in a messy way.
No, he's not. No, he's not messy. He doesn't snore. He's just.
He's just a shit person to share a room with.
No, he's not. No. Oh, I don't know how to put it. Like,
it just takes up too much space.
Now, like, for example, we were watching a movie once because we were rooming together, and he said, "Do you want to chuck on a film?" And I said, "Yeah, why not?" So then we were watching the film, and halfway through the film, I fell asleep, and he turned it off, and he woke up in the morning, and he was angry. And I said to him, he just wasn't talking to me, and I was like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "I put on a film for both of us and you want to go to sleep." Okay. And he was dark at me the whole day, and I was like, "You're being a kid right now."
He saw it as a real bonding experience, and you let him down.
Yeah, and then like, for example, like maybe 2 hours of the day, I'll go missing from the room, and maybe he'll find me in Nacho's room, and he'll come searching for me. He'll come searching for me, and he'll come. He's like, "Oh, okay. So why don't you go with Nacho then? And why don't you be with him?" I was like,
so he's a jealous roommate.
Yeah.
It's like a jealous girlfriend, basically. Like, he took it all really personally.
It's like I can't happily do things on my own. He's got to hold my hand while I go and do things.
Well, that's the spirit of being a roommate.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. You are right.
To be fair, that's what I call Netflix and chill. They just fall asleep halfway through. I'm like, I don't get this slogan. What is everyone talking about?
Oh god, yeah. Well, that was my experience with you.
And what is your favorite try you've ever scored, and the most embarrassing moment you've ever had on a rugby pitch?
Favorite try I've scored. I'd have to say it was the last try that I scored against Japan.
Aww.
Because that was a personal one, and obviously in the old stomping ground, and probably my most, I'm not going to say embarrassing, but probably the worst moment I've had was against Wales when I didn't pass it back inside when I made a line. Oh God,
But, you know,
oh, you don't understand the abuse I received online. It was terrible.
well, actually, I do because I saw it, not all of it.
I had to
the
delete
best thing I saw was
Did
someone had commented on that, and like, blah, blah, blah. And then you wrote back. I think it was on Twitter, and you wrote back, and we still won. Have a good day.
Yes, the best response.
Oh God, that was probably my worst. And I was the abuse that I received, that I just said, oh gosh. Sometimes I just don't know what to say when I receive it. I'm just like,
well, that's the most beautiful response you could give. I thought, like, that's perfect.
Is that why you look so emotional at the end when Italy won?
I was like, oh God, I was saved. Yeah. I was like, I might be back next year.
But then you've got to be like, Kieran, you told me to play free. That was me playing free. I mean, objectively, maybe I should have passed it, but
no, it was quite funny because the boys were like, oh man, that's a classic you. And I was like, I said, first of all, there wouldn't be that opportunity if I didn't create that opportunity.
Damn straight.
I said, if you want that opportunity, you go and create it for yourself then.
I love that.
I was thinking, oh God, these boys are giving it to me.
And yeah. I guess actually that sort of rounds off my final sort of question. It might be one you've just mentioned, but your most special moment on a rugby pitch.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. My try probably that moment, but special moment. It'd have to be winning against Australia.
Oh,
it'd have to be that. Yeah. Just because obviously that's home for me, and yeah.
Was there a moment in that game where you were like, oh God, because obviously it was, at the end that it really was clear that you'd won, but was there a moment where you were like, we're doing this, we're going to do this? Did you think from the off, we can do this, and then slow, because you guys, that was such a beautiful game in terms of just keeping them in check, keeping yourselves in that game throughout. But was there a moment in your head where you were like, fuck, I think we can do this?
We were quite confident from the beginning, to be honest. First of all, we knew that they were going to chuck out a bunch of new heads in the team for them anyway.
Yeah.
Because I knew that they were going to I don't want to say underestimate us, but
yeah,
they had a very busy tour, and there was only so many. Weren't many opportunities for them to put out other people, because I think they had 5 weeks on the trot or something.
Yeah, exactly. And if they were to experiment, then it'd be against Italy.
Yeah.
But we were very confident from the beginning, which was, I don't know, even before the game, leading up into the week, was just, everyone was very confident about it. And I never for a moment thought during the game that we're getting dominated, or I just kind of, I don't know, the boys are always, for some reason, are always more excited when we come up against teams like for me, I hate playing against the Irish and the English, because they are so hard to play against. Just because the Northern Hemisphere defensive system is just, it is crazy. Here for example, when I went home back to Australia playing at the Rebels, each team conceded more than every game there was more than 30 points conceded from both sides.
Yeah.
So it was always a high scoring game where
it was open, free,
in the URC, in the English Prem, you'd never see something like that, where teams are constantly conceding 30 points every game.
Yeah.
So when we come up against teams like Australia or the All Blacks, yes, obviously the All Blacks are another level, but in terms of going up against them, it's always exciting, because you just don't know what you're going to get. And so it seems against like the Irish and English, that's always tough. But playing against Australia, they do, and they just don't give you any time to breathe. Like, I can't say that I've played really well against the Irish or the English. It's just because they're just so defensive focused, and they're all about just kicking the ball back to you and just and just making you play and just suffocating you until you make a mistake, and then they'll obviously
Although you did get your first try for Italy was against England, wasn't it?
Against England, yeah. That was quite a memorable one as well. Yeah, that was probably even that, but it wasn't as exciting because there was no crowd.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course. Yeah. That makes all the difference.
Yeah.
Well, when you get your next try, we'll be cheersing you through the screen, and you cheers us back. I know that the big Riz asked you to do a try celebration. We don't want to do it for him because he's not very funny or a nice guy. You can forget about him. He's actually...
Who's that, sorry?
Also, the big Riz. Or what?
Why does that sound so familiar?
You did a podcast.
It's the guy from Clapham who you were on.
Archie?
Archie Cousins.
Yeah.
Don't take any offense, but I swear you just like the whole podcast. I was like, this guy reminds me so much of Archie.
Oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever heard. We've been saying this. We're like, oh, but Archie obviously is putting it on. He's like going over this guy. This is just him. This is it. You've just made Coach's day.
You're saying this.
That's such.
Apologies, man.
It's okay. It's okay. You based it on me.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Eddie does spend a lot of time playing touch rugby on Clapham Common, so I mean, him and Archie may well have crossed paths.
Oh God! But yes, he did ask me to do a celebration, but I
fuck him. No, do it for us. We'll do us. You know, like the Leonardo DiCaprio gif of him like doing the
little old sport thing. Yep.
Yes. Legend.
Old sport. That's it.
Oh.
At least you can do captain of my fantasy team.
He's captain of everyone's fantasy team.
Yeah, I know. Well, I didn't know that when I picked him. I thought it was like a personal thing. I thought, he was going to look at me and be like, I appreciate that vote of confidence in me, and I'll do it for you, Eddie. I didn't realize that everyone was making him their captain.
Oh God, the pressure's on. The pressure's on for me. So, and I said to the boys, I said, "Well, that's your problem on the weekend for not getting my points high because I barely touched the ball."
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's on you guys to get it to me. If you want, you want.
I'm the last guy to touch the ball, so.
That's a really good point. Oh, Monty, it's been so great having you on. Honestly, we appreciate it so much. You must be so busy. You're moving to Lyon. You're in Lyon. You're in a World Cup, and you've taken, we've taken a lot of time out of your evening to spend it with us.
No, not at all. Honestly, it was awesome to jump on with you guys. It's my schedule, has been a little bit difficult, but today was the perfect time, and I actually enjoyed the podcast a lot. So,
thank you so much. Oh, well,
thank you.
It's been.
I got a glass. I got a little.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there we
are. Well, I guess I'm just going to round it off with we're obviously cheering you on. There is no doubt, I think, in any of our minds that you guys can take either New Zealand or France. I really believe it. I really, really believe it, and I can't wait to see those games.
And I would also add, that people love watching you play. And because everyone, when they were young, played rugby. And everyone, I swear, when they closed their eyes and they thought about it, they dreamed of playing it the way you play it, with the freedom, the smiles, the runs, the kicks, the passes, the offloads, the tries. You're literally playing everyone else's dream. And it's an absolute joy to watch.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome to hear. No, thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate it. I don't know if you're probably going to make me captain against the All Blacks.
Well, no, I'm on this. I've done this thing that I've done. this fantasy one, I can't change my squad, so that's it. It's not the
Oh,
official one.
it.
It's some Super Brew. So it's some other fantasy rugby one that these guys wanted to do. But you pick your squad, and all you can do is change your day team, the team on the day. So
Okay.
you are the captain for the tournament.
So I am your guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I appreciate you. I do
Thank you.
appreciate you.
Well,
Pressure is on.
captain
Pressure is
against
on.
the All Blacks. And when you beat the All Blacks, Eddie, you're going to get a lot of points.
Oh, it's going to go through the roof.
I'll do my best. No, but thank you guys. I really appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We wish you so much luck for the rest of this tournament. Obviously, going to Leon. We should try and get out to Leon, guys. Maybe we should. It would be great if Benetton ended up in the challenge or champions against Leon. Oh, fingers crossed for that. I mean, the draws have happened, but you never know.
I don't think I'll be allowed to play, to be honest. But yeah, yeah. Not going to say why. There's just been some rules set. But yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
Well, that's for another conversation.
Yeah, we'll do that post World Cup. That's
Post
for
World
another
Cup.
day.
Yeah.
Monty, thank you
Alrighty.
so much for being with us. All the best with the World Cup. And yeah, we're cheering you on. We'll cheers you from behind the screens, from the sidelines, wherever we are. And thank you for coming on the podcast.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Grazie mille.
Grazie mille. Merci beaucoup.
Ciao.
Merci beaucoup.
Oh, Monty, thank you so, so much. You're a superstar. Yeah, just all the best.
Thanks, guys. Take it easy.
We'll speak
See ya.
soon. Ciao.
Ciao.